Hello and welcome! If you haven't noticed already, this is the second part of me redesigning some Garten of BanBan characters, so if you haven't already, please check that video out after this one. Also, I want to thank you all so much for the support on the last video. I really appreciate all the comments and feedback given to me, and I would love to hear more after. I always want to improve the quality of my work and stuff, so it's been a big help. Today we'll be doing more characters: Stinger Flynn, Captain Fiddles, Slow Celine, Nab Nab, and Sheriff Toaster, finishing off characters in Chapter 2. For this section, I'm just going to talk about two designs at once since they were pretty easy: Stinger Flynn and Slow Celine. There's not much I dislike about them since they're already cute by themselves, so the most I could do was look up their real-life animal counterparts and draw in aspects that I liked. Stinger Flynn is mentioned to have Atlantic sea nettle in his genome, so I just gave him those funny, stringy oral arms that sea nettles have. As for Slow Celine, she doesn't have a specified species anywhere as far as I know, so I based off of a garden snail, like, Garten of BanBan? Something I've noticed people point out is how I should try to push the horror aspect of them, and while I agree that makes more sense because BanBan is supposed to be a horror game, it's not the main intention of my redesigns. I want them to look scary in the kids show way, where they draw some form of blood or unsettling features, but are still pretty tame to look at. Mascot horror by itself has sort of become condensed horror for kids, so sorry if that upsets anyone. But if you're more than into the grotesque stuff, I'm not stopping anyone from redrawing my designs. I'd love to see your takes. Feel free to send them to me on social media or something. I'll probably have it on the screen right now. Moving on to Captain Fiddles, just like last time with Jumbo Josh, I had genuinely no idea what he was meant to be until I checked that he's based on a woolly spider monkey. But I also like the idea of him being a Yeti monster, so why not both? I give him a big ol' nose similar to the ones they have in Bugsnax and a few pirate accessories to show the whole captain thing. I think that he would play scavenger hunt with the kids, along with Opila Bird and Stinger Flynn being his pirate crew. It just seemed really fitting to me, I'm not sure. It's very fun. Next up is Sheriff Toaster. This one is also pretty self-explanatory. He's based off of the common brown toes, so I made his pupils into rectangular slits and drew some bumps onto him. I also gave him a tiny bag around his waist for him to carry those shurikens in Chapter 4. For those of you who don't keep up with the games, instead of a handgun, he has these toad stars that he throws at the jester. It's really funny to me. And lastly, we have Nab Nab. This was really tough for me, to be honest. I have horrible arachnophobia, and there was no way for me to research actual spiders without freezing up, so I had my good friend Vic help with that. Thank you so much, by the way, I really appreciate the help. There was a conflicting part of him being BanBan's opposite counterpart, so this had to be somewhat resemble him too. Then I had an idea. What if he was like a Wario type character, but got mutilated to look more spider-like? I took inspiration from Ben the Ink Machine, especially Edgar from the Butcher Gang. Nab and Alina goes through a similar process to Nab Nab. I like to think that they're just petty rifles that ruin birthdays and just like being a nuisance to BanBan and his friends. Weirdly enough, he ended up being my favorite design out of all of these, even if he's very different from the original. I even repurposed him into an OC. Look at that. His name is Ponzo. Here's some bonus characters for sticking this long: Tartarbird and the little baby chicks. Some people pointed out in the last video that I missed out the ostrich part of Opila Bird, so I thought I could at least compensate a little bit by giving those traits to Tartarbird. Hopefully that helps. And that's all for today's redraws. Next time we'll probably be going through some chapter 3 to 6 characters done, so stay tuned for that. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye bye!